thousands of protesters marching through Tel Aviv following Israel's announcement to fight Hamas for control of Gaza City.
Last Thursday, Israel's Security Cabinet, instructed the IDF to dismantle the 2 remaining Hamas strongholds in Gaza City and the central camps. Contrary to false claims, this is the best way to end the war and the best way to end it speedily.
August 10th, and the United Nations called an emergency Security Council meeting.
The latest decision by the government of Israel risks igniting another horrific chapter in this conflict, with potential consequences beyond Israel and the occupied Palestinian territory.
The Assistant Secretary General said that the only option was a full and permanent ceasefire. But he went on to blame Israel for failing to deliver aid to the population.
Israel must comply with its obligations under international humanitarian law, allowing rapid, safe, unimpeded, and large-scale delivery of humanitarian aid to the population.
In response to what sounded like an accusation of genocide, the United States defended Israel, condemning the UN meeting as, quote, emblematic of the counterproductive role that far too many governments on this council and throughout the UN system have played on this issue.
Remarkably, instead of pressuring Hamas, members of this body have encouraged and rewarded its intransigence, actively prolonging the war by spreading lies about Israel, the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, and the United States, and by handing propaganda victories to terrorists.
On August the 11th, Australia announced that next month it will follow France, the UK, and Canada's decision to recognise a Palestinian state in the Middle East.
The talks with Hamas fell apart on the day Macron made the unilateral decision that he's going to recognize a Palestinian state. And then you have other people come forward, other countries say, well, if there's not a ceasefire by September, we're going to recognize a Palestinian state. Well, if I'm Hamas, I basically conclude, let's not do a ceasefire, because we can be rewarded.
Now New Zealand looks set to follow Mr. Macron's lead.
We've had a long-standing position, since partition in 1947, to recognise both Palestine and Israel. We acknowledge that some of our close partners have and others haven't taken a position to formally recognise Palestine. It's a formal decision that Cabinet will take in September.
Mr. Netanyahu's announcement has left few satisfied, but remarks from the United Nations Security Council this weekend are disingenuous.
Given the scale of repeat displacement and current living conditions, preventing the entry of emergency shelter supplies defies the obligation to allow humanitarian relief for the population in need.
The point is that one of the few positives of the Israeli Prime Minister's plan is a US-led humanitarian surge that would open many new Gaza Humanitarian Foundation sites to feed civilians and replace the Hamas-UN collaboration that has long sustained the status quo.
In a complete inversion of morality and logic, this body has urgently convened to chastise the one democracy in the Middle East, the nation standing on the front line of the battle against radical extremist terrorism. If this body truly believes in justice and morality, then let your urgency be directed where it belongs, towards dismantling Hamas, towards freeing our hostages, toward ensuring that such atrocities never happen again. Anything less is not urgency, it is hypocrisy.